to do is cover the question that we had the other day, and it's just about dark here in Anderson. So we got a cloud cover. So I hope you can, yeah, you can still see it. Because if I turn on this light on the ceiling fan, it's all bright. So the question we had, let me pull it up because it's easier to pull it up with the. So here we go. I got everything pulled up. There we go. And I think it was Miss. Where'd it go? Well, I know. Well, I think it might have been. Come on. I pulled this question up yesterday. I thought I 1.4. No, I'm sorry. This is the 109. I thought it was this class. I'm sorry, it's the 109. Okay, so we're just going to start questions right here. So let me do by subject. And these are all old questions, so I'm just going to delete those. Delete. There we go. All right, so this one is 3.2, 23/9. 3.2, 23/9. First of all, is it a, oh, good gosh. This is the 15-part question. I'll go ahead and do it, but we've already covered this question. It's on the videos, but I'm going to go ahead and do it, but I'm going to do it in a fast way. So if you want to go ahead and write, go ahead and I'll give you a minute to write these down. And then I'm going to go to the spreadsheet. So go ahead, and we're going to do everything. We're going to do standard deviation, mean, median mode, all that, 5-number summary, interquartile range. We're going to do everything. So that way you'll see how to do everything for the test and just do as needed. So go ahead and write those down. It's 8:10. I'll start in a minute. I'll put it on stopwatch, give you a minute to write those down. Or put in your calculator, whichever one you want to do. All right, I've started the clock, so I'm going to give you a minute. Because when I go to the Excel spreadsheet, I don't want to go back and forth.
I thought we did this problem on Tuesday, like towards the end of class.
I think we did, but I'm going to go over it again because it's another person sending it. And it doesn't hurt to go over everything one more time because, you know, your test is, we're going to work the test today. So, you know, it's not going to hurt to kind of go over everything one more time. I just hate it because it's got so many numbers and I can't fit it on the screen. That's the only reason I don't like this question. And this is not a test question. But the material, each one of the questions is a test question. So just not 50 numbers. Okay, that's 1:15. All right, so I'm going to click on this. And I do give you the option on the test to use StatCrunch. Okay, now you can use it however you want to. So if you want to learn how to use it in the next couple of days before you take the test, it will automatically, and I'm just going to show you this, it will automatically, oh, I got to fix the pop-ups. Allow pop-ups. There we go. And okay, let's try that again. StatCrunch. No, open in StatCrunch. It may take a second. Oh, well, that's nice. Data could not be found. That's really nice. I'll try it one more time. I've never seen it do that before. Okay, I'm sorry. You'd have to type it in, but let's try the Excel spreadsheet. They need to fix that. But I have enabled, and you can use your calculator on the test, or you can do it by hand. Well, yeah. Okay, so here is the data. And the first thing I'm going to do before I get started is put it in order. So I highlight the area. And I go to data. And I go to sort. I'm just going to, you can use sort and tell it what to do, or I just hit the down arrow. Okay, those are, and we got 50. 50 is even. So I'm going to go down and mark 24. And I'm going to hit these two, and I'm going to hit the highlight because I'm going to use those two for my mean, or median. So mean, median, mode, meod, like TM work, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. Go down here, mean, first quartile, second quartile, which is the median. Let's go ahead and mark that. That's going to be equal to this number. And this number is going to be yellow, and this number is going to be yellow. Third quartile, and the max. And the mean, we can go ahead and fill that out, is going to be that number. And the max is going to be that number.
Usually pop right on.
I'm sorry, Siggy. Anybody got a question? Oh, Miss Dennis, you came in. Good, glad to have you. That got us up to 17. Okay. Need to have more than that, but I'm not going to say anything. Let's go ahead and do our median, which is going to be 0.84, but equals parentheses this number plus this number, close parentheses, divided by 2. And let's go ahead and get our mean. Our mean is our summation of all those numbers divided by 50. Mode, I really don't care about the mode. If you find the mode in there, tell it to me. I'm not going to look for, and that's observed, so I don't have to show you how to find the mode. All you got to do is look at it. So if somebody sees one, I see a lot of 7 9s and 8 1s. If somebody wants to volunteer 8 5, if somebody wants to volunteer the mode, I'd appreciate it, but it looks like there's 2 or 3. So I'm going to leave that blank. Range is equal to the max minus the min. Okay. Somebody's microphone is on. Mid-range is equal to the lowest plus the highest divided by 2. And then the variance, well, I'm going to take each one of these numbers and I'm going to subtract the mean, function F4, and I'm going to copy that down. And I'm going to square it. Raised to the second power. And I'm going to add that up. And that's my numerator for my variance. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say equals this guy divided by, and what's 50 minus 1? 49. And then the square root of that number, or raise that number to the 0.5 power or 1/2 power. And that's your standard deviation. Now, remember, hold on a second. Remember that our, yes, check for updates. Okay, thank you. All right, so remember my blue dot. Remember I told you that blue dot is very important. Okay, blue dot is when you have an even number, and that blue dot represents the median. So how many numbers are above the median? 25. 25 is odd or even? Odd. So that means you just have to pick it, and half of 25 is 12. So that means the 13th number is your first quartile. Well, I'm sorry. Blue dot. There's 25 numbers. So I'm going to pick number 13, which is 0.79. So 13 is 0.79. We'll give that a color. Let's color it to orange. So orange equals that number. And if you pick number 13 up top side, you got to pick number 13 on the bottom side. And I can't move my blue marker, so you just have to. So 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, boop, 13. And we'll color that with some kind of blue color. And that's equal to the third quartile, or the 75th percentile. Well, there. Okay, so now what's left? Well, the only thing left is interquartile range. So the interquartile range, and the formula I gave to you the other day, is the third minus the first. That's the third minus the first. And the lower level of our, that's supposed to be, our lower level, to see if we got outliers, is your first quartile. So that's going to be equal to your first quartile minus parentheses 1.5 times the interquartile range. Close parentheses. And then your upper limit is your third quartile plus parentheses 1.5 times the interquartile range. Now I gave y'all those two formulas the other day. And now we just do the graphs of everything. So here is going to be our normal curve with our mean in the middle. We'll highlight that. We'll give that one a green color. And we'll color that green also. Okay, it's not going to. There. And I'm going to hit center because that bothers me. Actually, the whole thing bothers me, so I'm going to hit center on all of it. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to add on the right plus the standard deviation. Block it for those that know what I'm doing. And I'm going to copy that over 2 places to the right. And then on this side, I'm going to subtract. So equals the mean minus the standard deviation. Function F4. Move that 2 places to the left. Okay, so if I drew my curve, which I don't have enough room to, but I'm going to try to draw something. My curve would have a little there. Don't make fun of me. Nope, stop judging. And all of them are slanted because the first couple are slanted, so I just slanted them all. Don't judge me. All right, so now we put the curve, and that's when it really gets ugly. But I'll try it. Black. I'm about to drop it down a little bit. There we go. Take our highlighter, translucent, Verde, and that is between 2 standard deviations is 95%. We're applying the empirical rule. Everybody in here should know that. There's 95%. And then our blue, our turquoise, is our unusual. And then our red, which I never use, is outliers. Now we're going to put another number under there in just a minute, which is going to be from our interquartile range. Remember, the interquartile range and the empirical rule both show us where the outliers are. Different people use different techniques. Some people use the empirical rule. That empirical rule is more of a at the beginning of the problem. Just look at it and tell me what the, and then interquartile is a little bit more detailed. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. That's not, this is my highlighter. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. Okay. So now I'm going to do my 5-number summary of my box plot. So here is my number line. I put a N there and an N there. And I'm going to put my middle right here. It's not going to be perfect because I forgot to do the same number of boxes. I'm trying. Okay, so here's my number in the middle, my mid-range. So equals the mid-range. And this is going to be the min. And this is going to be the max. And of course, now you're going to divide it. And I'm not going to, oh gosh, let's see, 71 to 85 is what? 14, half of 14 is 7. So that's going to be 0.78. And half of 14 is 7, so 0.92. I'm just finding the middle of the middle. Half of 8 is 4, so that's going to be 0.75. And that's going to be 0.82. And that's going to be 0.89. And that's going to be 0.96, something like that. Ain't got to be perfect. There. All right, now, where is my orange marker? My orange marker, make it a little bit thicker. Orange is at 0.79. 0.79 is right in here. And what my blue marker is 0.86, which is in here. And my yellow marker is 0.84, which is right at, well, I can't draw, but there it is. And you see, your box plot is telling you that your normal curve is pretty much okay because the yellow line is right near the mid-range. So if that yellow line is near the mid-range and you got some kind of a symmetrical box, then you can say that your data really looks like that. In other words, it's a little bit to the left of the mid-range, but it's still symmetrical. Okay? And the interquartile range tells us, well, we're going to, hold on, I got to turn the marker off. There we go. It tells us that by the interquartile range, our marker for the lower end of the is 0.685. So instead of 0.648, it's 0.685 with the with the interquartile range, and the upper is, instead of 1.03, it's 0.965. Okay. So if you can did anybody ever find a mode? Did anybody ever count?
I think it's 0.81.
Okay, I'm gonna put 0.81, and if anybody disagrees, y'all can take it up. That's 0.81. Looks like there's like 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what have I just done? I have just done 80%, 90%, 80 to 90% of chapter 3. That's why I do it all at once, because that way you get to see everything that you need to know for chapter 3, except for Z-scores. This is 80% of chapter 3. Anybody got a question on any of this? Yes. Ms. White, did you have a question? Or Mr. White? I only saw White. She raised her hand. You good? You good, Miss White? I guess she's okay. Miss White, do you have a question? Okay. All right. So that's that question, and I'm not going to answer all those parts. Miss White, you got a question?
Yeah, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is the thing on?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. How do you get like the hold on.
That's all right.
The 0.685?
Okay, the lower limit and the upper limit.
Yeah, how'd you get that?
Well, the formulas I think I showed in the last class. Hold on. And I'm just going to leave that there. The interquartile range, and if somebody's got a book, tell me what page it's on so I can reference it with this sheet. Interquartile range is equal to the third quartile minus the first quartile. And the lower limit is equal to, and I'll try to, there we go, is equal to the first quartile minus parentheses 1.5 times the interquartile range. And the upper limit is equal to the third quartile plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Anybody got a page number for that?
I found an example for the interquartile range on 152.
Okay. There should be a box with the interquartile range on a certain page, and I think 2 pages after that, there should be a box with these two in it. I'm looking for those 2 pages. Can you see if you see a box with the interquartile range in it? Let me see if I can find it. Hold on just a second. I know it's in 5.4. So just give me a second.
Is it page 151 where it says determine and interpret the interquartile range?
Yeah, it should be a formula in the box.
IQR equal Q3
That's it.
minus
What page
Q1?
is that on?
151.
Okay, now turn a couple of pages and you'll see the other 2. And I appreciate if that was that Miss Cameron that told me one of these pages. Thank you. What was the other page?
153.
153. Okay, so there's the 2 pages that has those on them if you need them. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am. That's what I'm here for. Even though some of y'all don't believe it. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Let's go back to the spreadsheet. Anything, and hopefully, please make sure you understand that this, and I'm gonna put this in a, I don't have any colors. Let me just pick one. Let's go with that pink. Okay, that one right there and that one right there is basically, if you don't want to use the empirical rule, let's say you're doing research and blah, 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 and you don't want to use the empirical rule, but you want to find outliers, then you use the interquartile range. But some researchers use the empirical rule and using the standard deviation, and they get that number and that number versus the interquartile range outlier markers. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to take that out and move this back in and get rid of that. And let's see if we can get a Z-score question in right quick. Z-score question. That's my instructor. That's that one. And they logged me out. What a surprise. 120. That takes care of that question. Let's do a search. Filter. Subject. That's this one. Let's see. I think we just did that one. 3.4. Let's see what that one is. Well, yeah, this one. 3.5. This is number 9/5. Maybe this is a Z-score. Nope, this is a 5-number summary. So you should be able to do this one real simple. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all want me to do everything or just the 5-number summary?
5-number summary.
Okay. So
that's the answer you're looking for, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, what?
Because that's the answer that's being looked for.
Yeah, that's what it's asking for, 5-number summary. So I'm going to go over to the handy dandy Excel spreadsheet. First thing I'm going to do is make sure they're in order. data. Okay, they're in order now. So now I just got to find the median. So let's go ahead and do min first, second, third, and max and mid-range. Now the min is equal to that number. The max is equal to that number. And the mid-range is equal to, parentheses, the first plus the second divided by 2. And then the second, let's see how many we got, 15. So that's going to be number 8 is your median. So how many numbers do you have above 8? 7. So we just hit that one right there because 7 is odd. And 3, 1, 2, 3, boom. And there's your 5-number summary. Now let's do a box plot just in case it asks for it. And I'm going to try to do, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I'm trying to do a good box location. And of course we have a, you can't use arrowheads. You got to have these blocks right here. And this number is your min. And this number is the max. And that is really bothering me. There we go. And the one in the middle is the mid-range. And now I'm just going to divide it up. And I should have had just 1 or 2. I should have had 3. Oh, well. 41 to 55 is, let's see, 41 to 55 is what, 14? Yeah, half of 14 is 7. So that's 3. So I'm going to put a 44 here and a 47 here, since I've got 2 blocks, and a 58 here, and a 60, let's see, 3 and 3, 61 here. I'm a little bit off, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so where's my blue marker? So I take my blue pen and I put it at 43, which is down here. And my magenta is at 47. I tell you right now, it's skewed right because the middle is right here, and it looks like we got a lot of stuff down here. So let's see where the orange falls. Orange falls at 55. And see, the middle is right here. So I can tell you right now that this box plot shows a little bit skewed right. All the data is to the left of the center. Let me draw a line on the center and make it red. There's the center. There's the mid-range. Mid-range is 55. I'm sorry. There's the mid-range. I'm sorry. I suck. There's the mid-range right there. So it looks like to me, you see, it looks like to me, I'll just draw a real thin line. No, I'm not going to do that. Give me a second. I'm trying. I'm going to draw a real thin line. see that hump follows the second quartile. So since that is right here, then it's a little bit skewed right. That's how you do the 5-number summary. So you see, it doesn't take long to do it if you practice it. Okay? And everybody feels good about that one. Now, if you want to write down the 5-number summary, I don't know, let me try to minimize this and maybe I can do it. Pull this back up and make it small. I don't know, let's see, 41, 43, 41, 43. What was the other ones? 47 or 55? What was the?
Your min is 41, your first is 43, 47.
47.
Yep.
55.
55,
And the last one.
69.
And that should be correct. And here, there's your box plot. So which one, first of all, it's not A. Somebody tell me why it's not A and it's not C. Mainly because you shouldn't have a, wait a minute. They're not supposed to put arrowheads. They're not supposed to put arrowheads. Okay, that's not right. But we know that it's a little bit to the left, so I believe it's probably C. Because this is skewed left, and this looks like a normal distribution because the middles line up. The median lines up with the mid-range. So that's a normal. That's skewed left. This is skewed right. I don't know what they could ask. What's skewed to the right. And you should feel good about yourself. Each one of those is a test question. You might have one on there that asks all three, but all three of these are good test questions. And that's 3.5. So we're good. So let's look at the test. Okay, delete. There we go. Let's look at the test. And let's see what the test tells us. Let's hit my courses. Make sure I go to the right one. Go to 120. And hit homework. What does the homework have beside it now?
Deadline.
Somebody tell me. Due dates for all those people that were going crazy about due dates. You got your wish. There's your due dates.
Why they gotta have their wish?
Huh?
Why they gotta have their wish? It's too much pressure.
I know. There it is right there.
Mr. Hubert, once you go into your homework and you start it, then you leave out, can you go back in it?
Yes. The only time you can go back in until after the due date. And that is on the 15th. So you should be able to go in and redo problems that you missed, and everything's due on the 15th, which is next class period. So that way, any questions that you have, I can go over Tuesday and you can go home and finish your homework that night before midnight, and you can make 100 on all your homework. Of course, not everybody will because they're lazy. So anyway, there's that. And this is what I do every unit test. I go through and put the homework, put the due dates on the homework, and there's the test. Oh my gosh, look what it has beside it. It has a due date beside it as well. And it has the number of minutes. Now, let me go ahead and tell everybody. I set my test for 50 minutes. And it tells me on the average how much each question is worth as far as time goes. And I usually set mine between 45 and 55 minutes. You have 90 minutes. Why do I give y'all 90 minutes?
To eliminate excuses.
To eliminate excuses, as well as give you a week to do it. And I give you 3 chances. Takes the higher of the 3. And look what, that's what My Labs Plus tells you. Those 3 questions, due date, 90 minutes instead of 50 minutes, and you got 3 attempts. Now, there are those students, and I'm not talking about in this class, I'm talking about all my classes. Okay, there are students that have documented reasons to have extra time. How do I do that? Well, after you try 3 tests at extra time and you still don't have enough time, that's when you need to email me. Okay, and I do that, I tell all my classes that. So if you're a documented person that needs extra time and you go through the first test and you make a 70, and you go through the second test and you make an 80, and you go through the third test and make a 92, if you're good with that 92, then you're fine. If you're not good with that 92, then you need to call me and say, or text me or meet me after class and say, Hubert, I took the 3 tests and I'm documented. I could use another 10 minutes, and I'll give you one more try at 10 minutes and then we'll go from there. So what I have found that 90 minutes is a good number for a 50-minute test, because that kind of encapsulates the extra time needed for those that need extra time and those that use time as an excuse. There's 2 types. Okay. So what do? You click on it and it'll ask you, are you sure you want to start this test? Now, the reason it tells you that is because it's saying, okay, dummy, if there's lightning strikes outside, or a flood, or snow, or ice, or you got 15 kids running around, or the house is a shambles, don't start this test. That's basically what that's saying. All right. Are you sure you want to start this test? And then you hit, and then it gives you this again. You got 35 questions. Now remember, 10 to 12 of those are bonus questions. You've got you've got the number of attempts. So it tells you twice. You hit start test. Now I'm not going to start the test because I'm going to go back and use the preview option, so I don't have to worry about whatever the student side. I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to just hit preview. And this is what you're going to see. Now, let me go ahead and make this announcement, and you need to write it down. If your cursor clicks outside of this test, if it clicks on this, if it clicks on homework, if it clicks on Khan Academy, then it will shut down the test and it will send me a message that says student left the test. Does everybody understand that? Raise your hand if you understand what I just told you. If your cursor goes outside of this test and clicks on something, that means it's going to send me, and it's going to disable your test, your homework, and everything. And you're not going to be able to, and it's going to send me a message that says student cursor left the test. So when you email me, just say, please give me access. Don't lie to me, because the system has already told me that you left the test. Okay? So, don't pour gasoline on the fire by what? By lying. Okay? Oh, the electricity. If the electricity goes out, or the wireless goes out, or My Labs Plus messes up, it will send me a different message. I just want y'all to know that before the fact. Okay, y'all put your hands down. Thank you. All right. So here's the first bonus question, and it says, why does Hubert not entertain extra points, extra credit, or dropping any grades at the end of the semester? Because he awards me extra points by these type questions, and he drops the lowest 2 grades on each unit test. So when you send me an email at the end of the semester that says, will you give me some extra points? Will I reply? No, because I've already replied. Everybody with me? Yeah, I'm with you, Hubert. All right, so don't ask that question at the end of the semester. Y'all put your hands down unless y'all still got questions. Next, compute the range. There's a, and you can, there, open in Excel, see there? I give you those options. So you can open in Excel. And you can do whatever you need to do. Now, I think y'all can complete the range pretty simple, but we're going to do it right quick. Open. Make sure you put it in order. That's the trick. You've got to put it in order. So put it in order. Data. And now the range is equal to that minus that. That's too easy. I need to take that off the test, don't y'all think? 0.53. I think I need to take that one off. Compute the range again. That's not going to put these, this is putting it in this order. It's going to mix it up. So it's not going to be one right after the other. 27 minus 5 is what? 22? And you can't check your answer. That's just for me. Okay, let's check the last one, make sure I got it right. Yep. All you're going to have is submit up here. And you can go backwards and forwards and skip a question and go back and redo it. It'll tell you which questions you've answered, which questions you haven't answered. The amount of television viewed by today's youth of primary concern to a certain organization. 300 parents of elementary school-age children were asked to estimate the number of hours per week that their child watched television. The mean and standard deviation for their responses were 19 and 3. Mean and standard deviation. So 19 and 3. So 19 and 3. The organization constructed a stem and leaf display for the data that showed the distribution of times was a bell-shaped curve. Give an interval around the mean where most, 95% of the television times fell in the distribution. So that's where you do your 19. 19 plus 3 is 22. 22 plus 3 is 25. 25 plus 3 is 28. 19 minus 3 is 16. 16 minus 3 is 13. And 13 minus 3 is 10. If you don't know what I'm doing, this is the empirical rule. Okay, to keep from messing it up, I'm not going to do the curve. Y'all can see the curve right there. I'm not going to do it. All right, here is our, let me pick a green. And we know that 2 standard deviations is normal by the empirical rule. And I think that's what but I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of it out. And we know that unusual is right here. And outliers are out here. So what does the question ask? The question asks, where is 95% of the population between 13 and 25? So I want everybody to write that question down. I mean, you don't have to write it down. You just write down the GS. You don't have to write down word for word. That's an empirical rule question. And I told you the empirical rule would be on the test. And check. Next question.
Mr. Hubert,
Yes.
after we finish the test, will it tell us the score?
Right after you submit it, yes.
Okay.
Right after. That's the good thing about this. And the good thing about this is, even though I don't like some of y'all and I like some of y'all, I'm just kidding. The computer does not. It doesn't see anything about you. It doesn't see your name. It doesn't see you. It doesn't see what type of person you are. It gives you the grade no matter what. That's why I love to use this system. It takes care of the excuse of, you don't like me. Okay, which one? This is the #1 most missed bonus question. And it's A. Why is it not D? Because it doesn't equal 100.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for interacting. And I'm not going to check the bonus questions. I think those are pretty self-explanatory. An Excel printout of some descriptive statistics for a set of data is shown to the right. What is the IQR? So the IQR, the interquartile range, is the third minus the first. So 20.5 minus 5 is what? 15.5? I need to take that one off. That one's too easy. I think I need to edit this test. What do y'all think?
No.
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 No. Okay.
No.
Okay. SAS was used to compare the high school dropout rates for 30 school districts in one city in 2010 and 2012. The box plots generated for these dropout rates are provided. Compare the center of the distribution and a variation distribution of the 2 years. Okay, so this one looks like it's a little bit skewed left. This one looks like it's a little bit skewed right. I don't know if that's what it's asking. Let's see what it's asking. Okay, dropout rates had a lower average, less variability in 2010 than 2012. Okay, this is 2010 and this is 2012. Looks like the spread is higher here. It also looks like, let's see, it also looks like this is a little bit to the right. This is a little bit to the left of the middle. So let's see, dropout rates had a lower average. Okay. Okay, it's not higher because this one would be high. Let's see, wait a minute. This one is higher because it's on the upper side. See, these are going in upper. So I would say the ones that say 2010 were higher. Dropout rates had a higher average. Dropout rates had a higher average. So I'd say it's either C or D. Okay. And since less variability, since there is less of a spread here, See, the end is right here and the end is right here. There's more of a spread here. I would say less variability. I could get it wrong because some of these wordy questions, sometimes you get them wrong. Got it right. So you got to, that less variability is a 25-cent word for spread. Write that down. Less variability is the word for spread. And you got to look at it. Okay, here's the end. See the end of the line right there, and the end line. Here's the end right here. So this one has more of a spread. This one has more variability. This one has less variability. You got to look at it. Compute the range. Okay, this is getting old. Okay, 18 minus 14 is 4. Of course, that's not going to be the easy ones. There's the standard deviation. So this is how you do the standard deviation when you're not doing everything else. You got to find the mean first. Put it in order first, and then find the mean. So I'm going to put it in order. Then I'm going to find the mean. Notice I'm not writing everything. I'm just doing it real quick. Divided by 9. Now I'm going to take the x and minus the 12, hit F4, function F4, and hit enter. Now you would be using your calculator if you're not using the Excel spreadsheet. And I'll show you in just a minute if it, and hopefully it'll pull up. And then I'm going to square each one of those. Copy that down. And there is your summation row. And that's your numerator. So the variance is equal to that number divided by 8. And then your standard deviation is equal to that number raised to the 1/2 power. And you see, after you've done many of these homework problems and you've done everything, you can just go back and do the short stuff real quick. 3.64. And some of y'all should be saying, oh yeah, I see what he's doing now. If you do everything on the homework, then when you get to the test, you just do parts. And it's a whole lot easier. And your confidence is a whole lot more increased. Find the population mean or sample mean. I'm going to do this one. Okay, it won't let, okay, I thought it would let you go to StatCrunch, but it lets you go to Excel, so it doesn't matter. If you wanted to go to the, we'll go to the, hold on a second. We'll go to the handy dandy calculator. For those of you that have a calculator, we'll do it. We'll do a couple with the calculator. I do so much for y'all. I tell you. I should just let y'all do y'all's own thing like other teachers do. All right. So
Don't be
that
like
will be
others.
what?
Don't be like other teachers. Be yourself.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
I get ridiculed for not being like the weaned on a pickle teachers. All right, so stat, edit, and I need to clear this. So you go up to the top at L2, hit clear, don't hit delete, and hit enter. And then go over to L1, go to the top, hit clear, and hit enter. Do not hit delete. That'll delete the whole column. All right, so I'm gonna punch in. I'm gonna punch them in order so I don't have to do that. 3. Well, let me punch them out of order so I can show you how. Okay, so 21, 11, 3, 12, and 13. And of course, they're not in order. So I hit stat, sort, and they send in order. Second, 1, and if you look above the 1, you'll see that L1, above the 2 is L2. So that's what I'm picking, L1, close parentheses, enter, and it's done. Now go to stat and edit, and you see they're in order. Make sure the diagnostic is on. Let's go to the diagnostic. Then I showed y'all this. Hit second, 0. And once you turn it on one time, you shouldn't have to turn it on again. But I'm showing you in case somebody wasn't here that day. Diagnostic on, hit enter, and hit enter. And that's the only time you should do it. And now hit stat, calculate, first variable statistic, and calculate. There you go. There's your X bar. 12. Now, which one am I going to hit? Am I going to hit X bar or mu?
Mu.
Why? Why do you say mu, Mr. Cameron?
Because it's a population.
Good job. That's 2 questions in one right here. That's a 1.1 question and a chapter 3 question. The 1.1, if you have a population parameter, it's going to be a Greek letter, and that's mu. So that'll be, I done forgot. Oh, it's in my calculator. 12. Did I not get that one right? Oh, I'm sorry. It says sample. We were both wrong. Right here it says sample. The directions say find the population mean or sample mean. Okay, there it says sample. So it's supposed to be X bar. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I suck. There we go.
So even though it says population, it's
No, up here. Read the directions. Find the population mean or the sample mean. And then it says right here, sample. So,
okay.
yeah, you got to read, this is the directions, okay? This, it'll either have sample beside it or it'll have population. If it says population right here, you would use mu. If it says sample, you use X bar. This is just the directions. I read it like you did. I thought it said find the population mean. I didn't read the second part. So that should be your answer. And you got to watch that one just like I did. You got to read the directions. And there is the question right there. If you take several forms of a unit test in Hubert's class, how is it counted? I kind of like C, but I can't do that, so I got to do B. A study in the 2 variables, a student's level of mathematics anxiety and a teaching method, students' achievement score. Students who had a low level of mathematics anxiety were taught using the traditional expository method. These students obtained a mean score of 310. Okay, draw the curve. When they give you that, draw the curve. Assuming a bell-shaped distribution, where would 95%? Okay, these are too easy. All right, so 310. I'm going to do this one on the, because I can draw better with the handy dandy do-jigger here. Let me change this. One of these days, I'm going to reset that on the, there we go. All right, so they're going to, you got to draw a curve. Remember me telling you to print those out? That's where you need them for the one person that did it.
I did.
Good job. I knew there was going to be one person. The rest of y'all, you know, you got to hit those buttons and you got to hit like print, and it's just a lot of work. Okay. So 310 and 50. 310, 360, 410, 460. 310 minus 50 is 260. I'm terrible at subtracting. 260, 210, and 160. Y'all check my math because I suck at subtraction. So I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter. And since I use green for normal, normal is going to be right here, which is 95%. I always use a blue. I don't like this blue highlighter, but I'm going to use it. There's my unusual. Y'all notice I've shown y'all this like 500 times. Does anybody want to know why I've shown it to you 500 times?
Because the
it's
person
very
like me
important.
still can't get it.
Who said that?
Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you for having a sense of humor, Mr. Dennis. Well, it's really twofold. One, it's hard for y'all to get, and two, it's important. So that's why I keep showing it. That's why it helps you to have the copies so you don't have to draw it every single time. Okay? 95% is normal, and that's the empirical rule. And of course, oops, sorry. And of course, this is 2.35, and that's 0.15%, 2.35, and 0.15. So I think the question was asking 95% falls between 210 and 410, if I did my math right. So Miss White, 210 and 410. Between 210, oh darn, I must have been luck. Okay, Miss White, do you have a question? Don't forget to,
Oh no, sorry, I forgot to take the thing off.
oh, that's fine. I thought you had a question. Okay, next. Although covered in the handouts and the first day of class by Hubert, what is the best way to communicate with Hubert? Well, it used to be my cell phone, but now it's Teams, because Teams comes to my cell phone and you can message me in Teams. That's the best way to do it. Email comes to my cell phone also, so that's why I said my cell phone. Compute the range. Again, 162 minus 20 is 142. So y'all can see, I don't give you crazy. Okay, here's a chapter 1, 2, 3, chapter 1 and 2 question. This is the one I told you that you're gonna miss. Determine whether the variable is qualitative or quantitative. Price of a new computer. It's quantitative. It's not blondes, brunettes, and redheads. And does the price of something have mathematical meaning? Yes. So which one of, I don't read all that, it's quantitative. So it's going to be B or D. Okay. And I would say delta. Numerical measure. Numerical measure is the 25-cent hold your pinky up term for the number has meaning, mathematical meaning. That's what that means. The accompanied frequency distribution represents the square footage of random houses of 500 houses. Approximate the mean, and oh my gosh, that's not supposed to be on there. Okay, I'll have to take that one off. Okay, because we didn't cover that. So I have to take that one off. It's number 16. I'll have to find it. So I'll take that one off. I'll do that after class. If you look at your overall grade one day and it has decreased from several days ago, what has happened? A 0 has been placed in the missing assignment. So if you don't do a homework, you get a 0, and that makes your grade go down. I had to put this in there because I had a student try to tell me that she didn't know that after grade turn in. Oh, I didn't know you got a 0. Yeah. You only had 12 years in school. What did you do? Watch TV? Compute the range and sample standard deviation. All right, I'm gonna let y'all do this one. I'm gonna give you a minute to get started on it. Range and sample standard deviation. Set the clock. Go.
What's that sixth number in?
Okay. The sixth number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3860.
Okay, thank you.
Let me see if I can make that bigger for you. Yes, I can. There you go. How's that?
Better, thank you.
I tell you. I need to quit spoiling y'all. All right, so here we go. That's a minute and 10 seconds. And keep working. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to get everything set up while y'all are working. You should already have it in your calculator and, you know, be working on your calculator, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in order. Okay, now the directions say, get rid of this one. It says find the range and standard deviation. So that means the range and the standard deviation. So I'm going to go ahead and find the range. And I'm going to show you a trick I learned in the war, okay? Range is equal to this minus this. Now, I'm going to hit standard deviation equals. Okay, now watch this carefully. Go back to home. Go over to the sigma and scroll down and hit more functions. And type in S. Well, it's supposed to, okay, there it is. STDEV. And then click on that little scroll right there and highlight these. Move that out of the way. Highlight all this column and hit enter and hit OK. And there is your standard deviation. I just showed you a shortcut. I'll go through it again. Now this is the easiest way to do it. Standard deviation is equal to, and hit ST equals ST DEV. And then highlight parentheses and highlight all of those, close parentheses. That's another way you can do it. Now you've got that on tape now. We're recording, so tonight, if you need to go over it again, you can go over it over and over and over and over. Okay, one more time. ST equals STDEV parentheses and then highlight and then close parentheses. That's if you're using an Excel spreadsheet. Okay? If you're using the calculator, you already got it. So 1080 and 453.93. 453.9. 453.9. And my other is 1080. We're so smart. Determine whether the quantitative data is discrete, count, or measured, continuous. Depth. What is depth? It's distance. So what is distance? I told y'all distance is measured. So this one is continuous. It's either alpha or delta. Which one is it?
D.
Well, countable is discrete. So it would be A.
O. A.
Okay. Remember, distance, what is measured? Meters, liters, and grams. Remember that. Meters, liters, and grams. What is meters? Distance. What is liters? Volume. What is grams? Weight. You could add height, but height is distance. Okay? So you got to remember that. Meters, liters, grams. What is discrete? A dozen eggs. Well, what is a dozen eggs? Because if I ask each one of you to count the eggs in a carton of eggs, how much will each one of you come up with? 12. It's countable. Discrete is eggs. Continuous is meters, liters, grams. That's another one that people miss. They miss this question because they get it confused. Remember, eggs, meters, liters, grams. What is depth? Are you a diver? What are you going to say? We found the wreckage. It's what?
However many feet down.
It's meters or feet down. That is depth. That is distance. Okay, next. Well, let's check it. We got it right. Next. Let me see what time it is. I don't want y'all to go into convulsions. Let's see. 9:25. We're already over. Okay, well, I've done 20 out of 35. You see, I'll go through the end. Range. Bonus. 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 Shouldn't bunch them up like that. Okay, here is 5-number summary and box plot. We did one like this today. Bonus. 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 The only reason it's bunching that up is because I'm not in the test. I'm in the preview. I'm in the teacher side. The only one that's got United States in front of it. Okay, this one maybe, this is ZScore. So there's your ZScore question. I told you you would have a ZScore question on there. Standard deviation and bonus. This is another ZScore, I believe, or empirical rule. I think it's empirical rule because they give you the mean and standard deviation. I don't think you may have to use the ZScore on this one. Bonus, standard deviation, and there's another ZScore. Okay, so now let me tell you this, and then I'll let you go after I check the roll. This test is not going to look like your test. Each of these questions pull, P-U-L-L, or P-O-O-L, whichever word you want to use, from 10 to 15 different questions. in a different order, and it scrambles the order, and it also changes the numbers. So the chances of you pulling up the same test on the second attempt or the third attempt is very low. You're not going to pull up the same test. These questions will look different the next time you take it. Okay? So when you get 3 grades and you've taken it 3 times, you're getting a good indication of how well you know the material because you've done it 3 times and it's different questions, different types. And remember, do not go outside of this area. It will let you use the Excel spreadsheet, but it should either let you use that or StatCrunch, one or two. All right, so I'm gonna get out of this, submit test, and you hit submit test, and I made a 51, and I didn't do half the test. Okay, and that's it. That's how you do the test. All right, let me go to the roll right quick and check the roll because some of y'all were here Tuesday. Let me hit stop recording.